They call him the Southern Moonlight Demon. Clevites is one of the top 4 demon lord. He freaking hates humans and sees them as nothing but bugs. But as fate would have it, during his crusade to wipe out the human race, a mere baby ends up softening his heart, and he takes the kid in as his own. Now he's forced to hide his real powers and blend in with humans, acting like some nobody. Right at the start of the story, a young girl accompanies her dad out to their farm. Once they're done, he tells her it's time to head back home. On their way, she takes a curious look around the house and notices a map of Edzi. Beyond the map, she sees there's nothing but darkness, just their continent completely surrounded by pitch-black zones. It makes her wonder what lies beyond that darkness. With curiosity burning, she turns to her father, asking what's out there beyond their city, something even he can't explain. Her father sees her curiosity, wishing he could offer an answer, but honestly, he doesn't know either. He explains that every human is born with this same drive, always wanting to know more. But every single time they've tried venturing into those dark areas, it's ended badly. He breaks it down for her, saying 4 mighty demons each control one of the 4 directions around Edzi: north, south, east, and west, and every expedition that's tried getting past them has been completely wiped out. The girl is stunned by this, trying to grasp how truly dangerous those zones must be, but it doesn't scare her away. Her father continues, saying that until those demons are defeated, they'll never find out what lies beyond the map. Still, he believes every challenge has its solution, mentioning the ancient treasures wielded by legendary heroes. Only heroes armed with special swords could ever face the demons. Without one of those heroes, there's simply no way they'll win this fight. This only ignites her determination even more. She dreams of becoming one of those heroes. She wants to fight. If she can just get hold of the Sword of Haydn, she's certain she can challenge the demons. Once those demons fall, they'll finally discover the secrets hidden in the darkness beyond the map. A few years go by, and our girl Alicia ain't a kid anymore. She's grown up, becoming one of the heroes chosen to fight. She closes her eyes and opens them again inside the truck that's taking them toward the city's outskirts. Holding the chain around her neck, she quietly tells her father that the moment is finally here, the moment she's got to step up and protect their city. She's not making this journey alone. Several other heroes are right there with her. As the trip goes on, they start chatting and introducing themselves. There are some real standout folks among them. Minarch, the one holding the sacred treasure called the Golden Ideal, straight up says he's got no clue where he originally came from. They all glance at Alicia, asking her to introduce herself next. They're shocked to see a woman among them, but Alicia doesn't even bother saying anything. As they get closer to their destination, Stefan, the guy carrying the sacred treasure Tenma, the winged horse, warns everyone they're almost there. They whisper among themselves, noting how Stefan's supposed to be the strongest one here. Suddenly, the truck stops, and the driver tells them the carriage can't go any farther. They barely start getting off when demons suddenly attack, taking down a few heroes before they can even hit the ground. Stefan shouts at them to jump out and fight, organizing them quickly into groups. The archers and lancers immediately move into action, while Stefan tells the rest he'll pair up with Alicia to handle any demons still standing. Thing is, Alicia's got her own treasure, Iwatubane, the legendary stone swallow. She joins Stefan, charging straight into battle beside him. Alicia's strong and charismatic, but the most impressive thing about her is how aware she is of everything around her. On the mountain just ahead stands one of the demon lords, who starts speaking about the nature of chaos. He admits the world itself was born from chaos, and if that's true, then he himself must be born from it too. He might have a point, but as the battle rages on, the heroes jump over hills and mountains, fighting their way through till they finally reach the summit. Stefan's particularly fired up. Being known as the smartest among them, he thinks it's fair he should ask the demon lord his name. He declares to everyone that today's the day they'll prove their strength, showing the people who chose them that they picked the right heroes for this fight. As soon as they reach Mount Moon, the demon lord makes his entrance, and just looking at him sends a chill through the group. His presence alone is terrifying. This is Clevites, the Southern Moonlight Demon, and even without saying a word, he makes the whole mountain feel heavier. Stefan gets shoved back, and though fear floods his face, he admits what's in front of them is terrifying. But they were sent for this, and they can't back down now. They're not alone, they're heroes, and together they believe they can turn legend into reality. Stefan tries to move, but Clevites hits him from far away, slams him against the wall, and kills him in one blow. The others freeze in shock, not just because he died, but because Clevites never even moved. One of them steps up to lead and pushes the others to fight, while Alicia holds back for a second, reading the terrain. As the rest close in, Clevites kills them without leaving his place. That's when Alicia figures it out and yells that he's using his shadows, and if they want to live, they need to stay away from them. They don't know how to do that, but Alicia starts jumping and running through the mountain. The shadow moves toward her, and she becomes the first to notice the attack before it hits and actually responds. Clevetess's eyes shine with surprise. Maybe this won't be as easy as the last group. He doesn't care, but it grabs his attention. This is humanity, and though he hasn't faced them in 1,000 years, what he sees now isn't what he remembers. They used to be weak, no stronger than bugs, but now they've got strength, they've got purpose, and they're not giving up. He's got no clue what's pushing them like this, but he wants to find out. The heroes all go after him, and one by one, he takes them out. Alicia's the last to fall. She's thrown into the sky, eyes closing as death reaches her, and in her final breath, she says sorry to her father, telling him she couldn't make her dream real. Over in capital Heidelart, the heart of the Heiden Kingdom, people are going about their day like nothing's wrong, completely unaware that something is coming straight for them. That something is Clevetess, bursts out from the mountain facing the city, and the moment he shows up, panic spreads like wildfire. The people run, terrified, but Clevetess isn't attacking them out of rage. He's just curious, doesn't give a crap about their lives, just wants to figure out what they're planning. He remembers that the ones who came after him before called themselves heroes, saying they were sent by the king of Heiden. So now, his goal is simple: cut through anything standing in his way until he reaches that king. Villagers scatter in fear, running for their lives, while the knights kick into gear, scrambling to defend the capital. Archers line up and launch their attacks, arrows raining down on him, but Clevetess doesn't even flinch. Instead of fighting back, he flies above the rooftops, gliding through the city so he can get to the palace and see for himself what kind of force is driving these people. The knights rush to reinforce the palace gates, firing more arrows, but nothing touches him. He watches their efforts with zero concern, and it becomes clear they're weaker than he expected. He lifts one hand, throws it at the wall, and the entire thing crashes down like it was nothing but paper. That's when the knights realize they're screwed. One of them takes off, rushing to warn the king that a demon is in the city. The king doesn't even look surprised. If a demon made it this far, then there's only one conclusion: those so-called heroes failed. He gets up from his seat and starts walking. There's only one thing left to protect now: the Blade of Heiden. Another knight runs in, shouting that the demon is tearing through the city and can't be stopped, and the king should hide. But if that thing really can't be stopped, then running is pointless, because no matter where he goes, it'll catch up to him eventually. The knights keep throwing flames and arrows at Clevetess, trying everything they can, but he knows nothing they do will change a damn thing. Still, there's strength in it. He remembers how Alicia's sword had managed to hit him and leave a mark. That memory sticks, reminding him that if humans are left alone, they'll eventually get stronger. He's not the one stepping into their world, they're the ones coming for his. And to him, that's all the reason he needs to bring the fight to them. The king moves closer to the door, ready to protect the blade, but as soon as he opens it, Clevetess appears. From the way the man looks, the crown, the clothes, the palace behind him, Clevetess doesn't need to ask, knows he's the king. Clevetess speaks in human language, and the king freezes. A demon speaking like a man, that alone shakes him. He asks how a creature like Clevetess could even understand their words. But Clevetess already knows who he's talking to. He tells the king he's the only one who might be able to save humanity. He's not here for war, not yet. He's got questions, and depending on the answers, humanity either lives or dies. When he says humanity, he's not talking about just Heiden. He means Org, Dawn, Suladen, Bent, the whole damn world. His question is simple. He wants to know what kind of people they are, what twisted reasons made them march into the demon kingdom and attack his land. The king stares back without fear and says he's not answering a demon's questions. Clevetess doesn't ask twice. He cuts the king's head off right there and walks out without looking back. To him, that was enough proof. Humans are dangerous, and that makes them a threat. So now, they must be destroyed. But he knows he can't do that alone. He needs allies, a group that can follow him and help him finish the job. As he leaves the palace, a sharp cry echoes through the air. A baby, held in the arms of a dying mother, screams in pain and fear. Clevetess hears it but barely reacts. It's just another human. But the mother speaks, begs him to save the child, her voice low and broken. Clevetess stares, surprised she's even speaking to him. She's begging the one who plans to end everything. He tells her if the kid dies, she should blame the fact he was born human. But the woman answers through her pain, saying the baby never got to choose how he was born. Clevetess couldn't give a shit, but he looks her in the eye and says if she wants him to spare that kid, then she better give him a reason why. She struggles to speak, reminds him she's dying and can't prove anything right now, but says one thing with full certainty: the child will prove his worth when he grows up. And with that, she takes her final breath. Clevites stands there, silent, then picks up the baby. He's not buying it, but watching a human grow doesn't take much effort. So if this kid's gonna prove something, he'll wait and see. Across this wide land, 5 main human races live in different parts of the world. First, the Kingdom of Dawn holds the biggest population. Then come the Orgites, brave and fierce with horns on their heads. Next are the Sladens, quiet types who avoid dealing with anyone outside their kind. Then the Benti, demonic in appearance, but loaded with raw power. Last, the Hydanians, the smallest race, looking the most like normal humans. They're also the smartest, known for crafting weapons from a rare crystal called arcanosite. But only the royal bloodline knows the true method behind it. They've been selling those weapons to the Dawn race, and that deal led the 2 races to take on missions together, forming mixed bloodlines. Even so, full-blooded Hydanians are now rare. Outside their kingdom, wild dark beasts roam, violent and uncontrollable. Deep in the Luna Mountains, Clevites, in his massive form with 9 long tails, scares off a few beasts that try to eat the baby. The kid cries out, loud and scared, and Clevites worries this little creature might not last long if it keeps screaming like that. He wraps around the baby, thinking how to shut him up for a while, then gently taps the child's forehead with 1 claw, and the baby falls asleep. While staring at the baby, Clevites starts to get the feeling it's about to drop a little surprise, and sure enough, not long after, the kid wakes up crying while unloading a nasty mess that hits his nose hard. It pisses him off, but instead of getting rid of the child, he picks it up and walks off, hoping to find a way to deal with this disgusting problem. He ends up throwing the baby into a pit full of bugs, not the dangerous kind, just the ones that love feeding on poop. As the bugs enjoy their meal, Clevites mutters something ridiculous about humans growing up in a few nights, clearly showing he knows nothing about raising one. He glances down at the child and realizes he doesn't even know who it is, doesn't know its name, or why he even bothered turning back to pick it up in the first place. He blames his soft heart for that, but it's too late for regrets. He's not going to return it, not with the pride he holds as the Lord of Dark Beasts, and since he already made the decision to raise the kid, he'll see it through. Problem is, he has no idea how humans live or what they eat, and there's no way he can raise the baby alone. Looking over the fresh corpses nearby, he picks out one Alicia. She had led a failed assault against him, driven by the pain of losing her father to dark beasts, thinking she could win by charging into his territory with an army, but it all ended in disaster. Now, she's the one he chooses to bring back. With a wave of dark power, he revives her. The moment she wakes up, she tries to attack, but quickly notices her sword is gone and her comrades are nowhere in sight. Clevites tells her with full pride that she's alive only because he revived her, which means she's nothing more than a walking dead under his control. She freezes, staring at him in silence, stunned not just by the fact that she's the only one left, but by how fluently this demon speaks the human language. Meanwhile, Clevites orders her to reveal her fun bags, and the moment she hears that, Alicia instantly thinks he's trying to make some twisted move on her. She freezes up in fear, completely shocked that the Lord of Dark Beasts would dare make such advances. But before her dirty thoughts can spiral any further, he cuts her off and makes it clear the order isn't about her. It's about the hungry baby that won't stop crying. He tells her to take off her armor and bring out her milk tanks immediately. Since he'd infused his dark energy into her body, her will isn't exactly her own. She had no choice but to reveal the chesticles, lifting her top with obvious shame, exposing what he asked for even though she hates every second of it. Clevites takes a good look, then suddenly realizes there's no milk. Looks like someone forgot to fill the tanks before the damn show. To clear the confusion, Alicia educates him on a basic fact that a woman needs to have given birth before she can produce any milk. The embarrassment of showing off empty tanks hits her hard, and she begs him to kill her and put her out of her misery. But he ignores her whining while the two argue back and forth over something that clearly isn't helping the baby. The child starts crying again, but instead of dealing with the issue, they keep bickering over how the kid even ended up in his hands in the first place. Fed up with the pointless chatter, Clevites snaps and demands she figure out how to feed the damn thing. She admits she doesn't know much about raising kids, but says the baby needs a woman who actually has milk. That leaves them with one problem: how the hell are they supposed to find one? She explains they'd need to hire someone, and for that, they need money. Of course, Clevites is broke, but since the cave they're in is full of arcanosite, they could probably turn some of it into cash. While he thinks about that option, Alicia considers making a move on him, but without a sword, she quickly drops the idea. Clevites agrees to the plan: find a woman with milk and feed the baby. But just as he's about to head out, Alicia stops him, pointing out the obvious that if he walks into town in his current form, people will panic before he even gets a chance to explain anything. She says she'll take the baby herself and go find someone who can help. But Clevetess refuses the idea right away, not because it's wrong, but because he doesn't want the baby out of his sight. So he transforms into a human boy. The look is close enough, but the 9 tails keep wagging behind him like they've got their own plans. He ends up sliding the tails into a shadowy space beneath him, something no one should ever look at. But even then, the horn on his head stays out and he doesn't notice. Before they leave, he gives himself a name Clen and names the baby Luna. Only then does he bother to ask for her name, and she tells him. They head to a nearby river where Alicia starts bathing the child. Clen keeps interrupting, nitpicking every move she makes like an annoying mother-in-law, from how she scrubs to how she dries him, and even where to focus more. Then out of nowhere, the baby pees right on her face, and she holds back a scream while trying to finish the bath. Once she's done, Clen says the poop-eating bugs did a better job. They reach her old camp, but it's empty. Alicia says they stored the valuables somewhere else and leads him there. Clen tells her to go wash up too, says she smells like she's been hiding from soap since the damn dark ages. He tosses her the cloth used to wrap the baby, asking her to clean it. While washing it, she spots a crest stitched into the fabric. It's the royal mark of Hydanian blood. She freezes, realizing the baby is no ordinary kid. Back at the ruins of the castle, a soldier searches through the wreck, shocked by the level of damage left behind. He remembers the crown princess had plans to flee with her child before all this, and now he blames the king's madness for the fall of the kingdom, holding on to a small hope that someone made it out alive. On the other side, General Drell stands with a few of his men, staring down at what's left of the Hydanian kingdom. He tells one of them to go inform the emperor fast, warning that if they don't move in and take the land, another race will. The real reason he wants Haydn is clear. It's the Arcanosite secret, something only the Hydanian royals knew how to control. He heads out to gather his forces, leaving his second-in-command Maynard in charge of finding any survivors with royal blood and bringing them straight to him. Elsewhere, Alicia holds up the cloth with the Hydanian crest and confronts Clen, accusing him of stealing a baby tied to the royal family. Clen looks at her, confused and shocked, then says he was given the child by someone who looked exactly like the form he's taken. She doesn't believe a word he says, but he shuts her down and tells her he only killed the king because he was attacked first. Now he expects others will come after the child to unlock the Arcanosite power. Clen, clearly pleased by what he's discovered, says he'll raise the child as king and rule everything from the shadows. The way he calls the kid his servant makes Alicia freeze, fear creeping up her back as she starts to wonder if revealing the child's identity was a mistake. Clen tells her they need to find someone with milk fast and feed the baby before it loses its strength. While they move through the forest, Alicia tells herself there's no way the humans would accept someone with a freaking horn sticking out of his forehead, even if he was disguised as one of them. Alicia keeps thinking no one would accept Clen with that horn on his head, but she forgets Orgites have the same feature, which could help him pass, though she still believes humans would figure him out and ruin his plans before they even start. She also starts seeing how deep his obsession with Luna runs, and something about it shakes her up. If anything were to happen to the kid, she fears it might bring real disaster to humans, so she decides to make it her new duty to protect the child no matter what. While they're walking, a bunch of bandits jumps out and hits Clen straight in the head before Alicia even realizes who they are. He thinks they'll be easy to handle, but right after the first hit, he drops and starts bleeding hard. Alicia screams like a little girl and takes a hit to the back of her head that knocks her out cold. Even with Clevetess's power inside her, she's shocked at how weak she still feels. Later, she wakes up and thinks for a moment she's surrounded by her soldiers heading into battle. But before the dream settles in, Clen's voice cuts through, calling her a fool and telling her to wake up. That's when she snaps back to reality and sees they've been captured by bandits, with Clen smirking like he's not even worried. They're sitting in the bandits' carriage surrounded by a bunch of other captives. Clen's just chilling with baby Luna in his arms and wearing this calm-ass grin, which honestly freaks Alicia out even more since she's got no clue what's running through his mind. She notices Luna sleeping quietly and asks Clen how he managed to settle her down. So he explains that Luna was fussing earlier, but the second she saw those bandits' busted faces, she passed out cold. Alicia carefully moves past the other prisoners, edges closer to Clen, and whispers, asking why the hell one of the strongest demon kings who ever lived let himself get caught. She figures that when Clen changed his appearance, he probably weakened his powers too, which explains why he got knocked out in one hit. Clen nods slowly, admitting she's close, but not exactly right. Changing his form made him as physically weak as a regular human, something he didn't realize until after he got sucker punched. Basically, his built-in defense is pathetic now, but if needed, he can still power up. But that still leaves Alicia wondering why Clen hasn't busted out of this mess already. Clen explains his thinking. Since he's stuck blending in as a human for a while, he plans to keep his true strength under wraps until Luna takes her rightful place as king. Plus, he's actually curious about humans, wants to see what makes them tick, like why these poor bastards around them got captured in the first place. That's why he's just sitting back and letting things play out. Realizing Clen's totally clueless, Alicia lays it out straight for his dumb ass, telling him they got captured by bandits who probably planned to sell them all off as slaves. She quickly adds that Clen shouldn't judge humans based on these scumbags, since bandits are the absolute worst kind. Not long after, they arrive at the bandits' hideout, where the captives are immediately split into two groups, men on one side, women and kids on the other. Suddenly, one guy tries to make a run for it, and Dagarn, one of the bandit bosses, just cracks a twisted grin, knowing the poor fool just signed his death warrant. Right on cue, another bandit chucks a dagger straight into the guy's back, dropping him instantly. With that idiot gone for good, Dagarn turns back to the terrified crowd, warning them not to pull anything stupid, unless they want to end up dead too. He then locks eyes on Alicia, orders her to come with him, and before she can even protest, he grabs her roughly and starts dragging her off to his room, determined to find out exactly what she's hiding. Clen's still standing there looking lost when a woman named Carm, who seems to run the women and babies side of this shady-ass operations, spots him just staring into space. Noticing he's got a newborn in his arms, Carm calls her servant Neru to take care of Luna. Neru's whole job around here is nursing babies they kidnap. The bandits' hideout is in an old quarry, and at the bottom there's this deep pool. Way down at the very bottom lies some legendary red blade, but getting to it isn't easy, because something crazy powerful is guarding it down there. Turns out I misread Dagarn's intentions, because he only dragged Alicia straight to Vroko, the guy currently running the Crow's bandit gang, while their real boss Zazak is away. Vroko apparently stole leadership from Zazak, and nobody dares say a damn thing because of his pet beast, Betty, who's strong enough to rip people to shreds. Alicia instantly recognizes Betty as a Western demon, shocked that a low-life bandit like Vroko somehow managed to tame such a dangerous creature. Vroko casually talks to Betty, and she tells him she's bored and wants to play with a human male. Vroko shrugs and tells her she can choose whichever she wants from the two bandits who brought Alicia in. But before that happens, Vroko explains why Alicia's here. The bandits obviously got their hands on all those magic crystals Alicia collected from Clen's base. Vroko already figured out they came straight from Mount Moon, home to Clevitas. Based on that evidence, and the fact Alicia didn't even flinch when she saw Betty, he knows for sure she's one of the 13 heroes from Haydn who were sent to kill Clevitas. Vroko guesses Alicia was on her way back to Haydn carrying that big bag of crystals, so he casually drops the bombshell the royal capital already got wiped off the map by Clevitas. But for the Crows, that's not exactly bad news. Vroko smiles, showing off a red-colored blade, the monohydrite sword, something only Haydn royalty knows how to forge. Of course, Vroko's sword is just a worthless fake. His gang has been selling these rip-offs to idiots who can't tell real from fake for years. Now that the royal family's been permanently logged out of this world, the prices of monohydrite swords have gone through the roof. Sure, it's a solid money-making scheme, but Vroko's got his greedy eyes set on something even better. The purest hydrite swords ever made, the ones personally forged by the kings of Haydn and handed straight to the heroes. Vroko's convinced the rest of the heroes got wiped out by Clevitas, and Alicia only survived by ditching her team. He pushes Alicia to reveal where her weapon is, along with the gear from the other 12 fallen heroes. Alicia keeps her mouth shut, so Vroko commands Dagarn and Satch to take her to Clevitas's place and hunt for the treasures themselves. Dagarn throws out the idea that maybe they should bring Alicia along to grab another treasure they're already tracking, but Vroko shuts him down quick, insisting on sticking to their original plan. He even gives Dagarn and Satch permission to have some fun with Alicia before they head out, just to keep her from causing trouble on the road. At the same time, Clen's stuck waiting tables at the Bandits Inn, run by Karma. He watches quietly while bandits constantly hit on Karma, silently disgusted at how terrible these guys really are. Elsewhere, Neru's busy feeding Luna the legendary milk, but that's not her only duty. She also works as a waitress, taking endless abuse from the scumbags who fill this place. Clen quietly serves meat to the bandits with surprising patience, earning a bit of respect from some of them. But Karma picks up on something off about him. Everyone around assumes Clen's an orc because of his horns, but his skin's too pale and his eyes have the look of a cold-blooded killer. Two bandits start hassling Neru, dragging her off to put her through hell all night, leaving her bruised and battered. Neru doesn't complain though, and once they're done, she just silently returns to the inn to nurse Luna again. Shortly after, the two bastards who abused Neru suddenly get weak and dizzy, and moments later they're completely wiped from existence. Turns out Clen quietly stepped in, dealing swift justice for Neru. Neru comes back to feed Luna again, finding the baby gently resting in Clen's arms. She's got no clue what he did to those two guys and honestly doesn't care. Her only thought is feeding the baby, so she picks Luna up carefully and takes him out to a nearby shed to nurse him. Clen follows quietly behind, sitting down next to her and gently asking Neru to share a bit about herself. He wonders if she's officially part of the crows and exactly what kind of work they're into. Neru hesitates slightly, but Clen softly encourages her to keep talking, letting her know he's just genuinely curious about her story, nothing more. She says this place is all she's ever known, and being one of the crows is the only thing that's ever defined her. Never had a dad around, and her mom was the only one she ever had. Even then, she never saw her face, only her back. But even as a kid, she figured out her mom was a slave. She'd sneak peeks at night, saw the men coming in, doing whatever they wanted. Then, when she turned 12, her mom just vanished. No one said anything, and she never found out if her mom died or ran off. That same night while she was eating, a group of men came up and started beating her. After that, life turned to hell. That's when it hit her mom had been shielding her all along. Once she was gone, they treated her like an animal, beat her daily, and left her to survive however she could, until Karma showed up. Sis Karma told her straight if she kept the men happy, they'd back off and leave her alone. So she tried following Karma's example, tried to figure it out. But she was nothing like Karma, didn't even know how to do what Karma did. Still, things got a little easier. At least now she had something to keep her busy. She could work, and since her body wouldn't stop making milk, she could feed the kids too. That was enough for her. Clen finds it odd, asks how she has breast milk if she never had a child. That's when she tells him she was pregnant once, but lost the baby. The baby had been moving inside her, giving her something to hold on to. Then all of a sudden, it was gone. Stillborn. The midwives told her flat out the kid was dead, and in that moment, she felt herself slipping away, like the world had turned to ice. She figured she was gonna die too, and honestly, she was okay with that. She didn't have a reason to keep going. If dying meant seeing her baby again, that sounded good enough, but then something warm pulled her back. She opened her eyes and saw a 6-month-old baby clinging to her, trying to nurse. Just seeing him fight to live, needing her like that, it snapped her out of it. She picked him up, held him, fed him, and for the first time in forever, she felt like she mattered. Her body kept working overtime like it never got the memo she was done having kids. She kept feeding that baby till he got strong. Then more kids came through the crows brought in by that same gang, and she nursed them too. Word got out about her top-tier milk, because babies kept showing up like she was running an underground dairy. Watching them survive because of her made her feel like she finally had a purpose. She admits she tried to have her own again, twice even, but both times ended in pain. Clen eventually cuts her off, says that's enough. Then he asks if she'd come with him as Luna's wet nurse. Says he's not forcing her, but there's really no reason not to. Luna clearly likes her, so it'd work out either way. Luna pats her chest like she wants Neru to stay, so Clen gives her the choice one more time: either come with him as Luna's wet nurse, or stick around and let those scumbags do whatever the hell they want with her. Neru knows it's a generous offer, but says it'd be foolish to take it, especially since she thinks he's a slave too. She tells him she wishes she could say yes, but she can't. As far as she knows, he's still chained up same as her. Plus, she's got other kids who need her milk to stay alive. So she hands him Luna and quietly walks away. At the same time, the gang drags Alicia to a raggedy old bridge and tells her to walk. She steps onto it and stops halfway, staring down. They think she's planning to jump and mock her, saying there's no way she'll survive. But she ain't trying to escape, she's looking at the river below. She sees gems glowing under the water, and she already knows what that means. Before she can say it, they beat her to it, telling her this is where the hero Cordwar died. She knows the story. One of the captives speaks up, saying he'll dive in and grab what they're after if they promise to free him and his wife. His wife pleads with them to honor that deal. But the second he jumps in, monsters rise from the depths and tear him apart. Alicia knew they were lying. That river is a damn nightmare, filled with creatures that came into the world 300 years ago when a flood opened the gates to a place called Arvensis. Back then, they at least had solid ground to fight on. Cordwar, the strongest hero of his age, tried to hold the line but he couldn't. His sword, the Stream Splitter, is still buried somewhere in that river. The gang wants someone to bring it up, but that mission's a death wish. She snaps at them, calling them sick bastards for setting the poor guy up, and even says they didn't bother tying his rope right. They shut her up fast, telling her nobody asked for her opinion. Then they introduce Fido, the brute who's about to beat her down. He steps onto the bridge, grinning like a creep, saying he's gonna strip her down right there. Before he lays a hand on her, she slams her arm back into place, grabs Fido by the neck, and chokes him out bloody, snatches his sword, then leaps off the bridge, whispering to herself that she's putting her faith in what Clem said, that she's immortal and won't die that easily. The bandits glance down, and once they spot Alicia's lifeless body, they start freaking out. She was supposed to be the one guiding them to the 13 lost regalia weapons, and now she looks dead. At the bottom of the cave, Alicia slowly comes back to consciousness, and it's all thanks to that curse of immortality Clevites dumped on her. The thing is, the curse keeps her alive, but it doesn't heal Jack. Right now, she's paralyzed from the neck down with no clue what the hell to do. Every bone in her body feels shattered, and she's lost more blood than she even knew she had. Climbing out of this pit on her own ain't happening. But if those bastards come down and realize she's still breathing, things will get worse. So she starts fighting to move even a little until the blood floating from her body starts swirling. And that's when Clevites shows up. Alicia's shocked to see him looking all tiny, but he says that's because he's showing up through the blood magic inside her. That cursed blood is what's keeping her undead body running. If it all bleeds out, she's done for good. Still, he says that as long as she stays useful, he'll refill every drop she lost. And once that's done, her body should bounce back from the damage. She's relieved hearing that, but then notices something. Clevites hasn't lifted a finger to start healing her. She asks him what the delay is. He says he will, eventually, but first he's got a question. Turns out, he found someone perfect to be Luna's wet nurse. Even as a demon, he could tell Naru's getting treated like crap here. So he offered her a chance to escape and live a better life with Luna. To his surprise, Naru flat out refused. Clen looks at Alicia, wondering if she's got any clue why someone would turn down a deal like that. Alicia thinks for a second and figures it's because Naru probably sees Clen as just another slave who can't keep a promise. People don't leave these bandit groups easily, and if they do manage to slip away, they usually end up hunted down like animals. Growing up in that kind of world, Naru must have convinced herself that freedom's nothing but a fantasy. Clen asks if there's any real way to fix all this, and Alicia figures the simplest answer is to kill every damn bandit in that freaking camp. If no one's left standing, Naru wouldn't have to worry about getting hunted down, and maybe then she'd take Clen's offer. Alicia says it shouldn't be hard for someone like him. He's got more than enough power to wipe them all out by himself. But Clen shakes his head. He says he can't afford to get caught off the mountain. If word gets out that he left, people might use it as a chance to strike Clevites' territory while he's gone. That's why he wants Alicia to handle it instead. Heroes slaying bandits sounds like a normal day on the road. Alicia tries to push back, but he cuts her off and tells her to stop complaining, then hits her with a wave of blood magic that starts rebuilding her body. A few bandits finally make it down into the mine, hoping to find Alicia's corpse. What they see instead messes them up bad. Her limbs are twitching and jerking as bones snap back into place, muscles twisting like snakes under her skin. The pain is brutal, but once it's over, she's back on her feet, fully healed. They have no clue how she's even alive after that fall, but honestly, they don't care. As long as she's breathing, they can still use her to find the 13 regalia. They know she's a hero, so they stay on guard, thinking they'll be fine if they rush her all at once. But one cocky bastard decides to go in solo. He slashes her shoulder, but after everything she just went through, that pain's nothing. Alicia grabs his arm, smashes him in the face, then snatches his sword and yanks off his eye patch. She's still pissed she's even stuck in this mess, but these guys aren't worth sparing. If they can't be saved, then she'll do what she has to. Scene flips to Clen, dead set on one thing, tracking down Naru and showing her freedom's the real deal. At the same time, Naru heads back to the tavern, where Karma's been waiting. She's been worried sick, seeing Naru come back all bruised and broken again. It hurts her, but there's nothing she can do to fight back against the bandits. Naru's thankful for how much Karma cares, but work's not gonna stop itself. Karma sighs and tells her to start clearing the dirty dishes. Karma notices Naru's walking around with a weirdly bright mood for someone who just got beat to hell, so she asks if something good happened. Naru says it's not exactly good, but it kinda made her happy anyway. Then she hits Karma with a random question: what's the outside like? Karma blinks for a second, totally caught off guard. Naru never asks stuff like this. She asks why she wants to know, and Naru says she was born in this hellhole, so she's never even seen what life outside's like. But Karma was brought in, so she's gotta know a thing or two. Karma admits she does know the outside world, but it's not filled with sunshine and butterflies. Most of the women here either had their homes wiped out or never had one to begin with, so yeah, nobody's lining up to reminisce. Still, she wants to know why Naru's suddenly thinking about all this. Naru says someone asked her if she wanted to leave. Karma instantly smacks the crap out of her, says she's crazy for saying something that dangerous out loud with bandits lurking around. Those bastards don't see them as people, just tools to toss out when they stop being useful. That's why the girls stick together, protect each other, stay quiet. Saying stuff like that is the fastest way to end up dead. Right then, Vroko walks in, and of course he heard everything. Karma freezes, heart sinking, because nothing good ever comes from that guy showing up. She tries to keep cool and asks why he's even here since he rarely shows his ugly face in the tavern. He shrugs, says he heard about the new baby and wanted to check it out. Karma turns to Naru, asks her to tell him where the baby is. Last she saw, Luna was in the stables. Vroko nods, says he'll go see for himself. But before walking out, he tells Naru to come with him. The way he says it sends chills through Karma's spine. She knows damn well what that tone means. She tries to stop him, but she's got no say around here, and Naru's too naive to realize the danger she's walking into. After they're gone, Karma slams her fists against the table furious. Naru was the only one taking care of the babies here, and now she's just gone. Vroko doesn't give a damn about any of that. Karma tries to tell herself there was nothing she could have done, that maybe Naru brought this on herself by dreaming too loud in the wrong place. But deep down, she knows that's just bullshit. Feels intense panic about what's coming next. Right then, Clen walks in holding Luna, and Karma jumps a little since she didn't hear him come in. But it clicks quick he's probably here to feed the baby. She tells him Naru's gone, and chances are, she ain't coming back. Karma hates saying it, but that's just how life goes around here. Clen stares at her confused, not buying that answer one bit, then asks her what the hell she means. The second Karma looks into his eyes, she knows he's dead serious about finding out what happened to Naru. At the same time, Vroko's leading Naru down this dusty old stairwell, and she's low-key amazed, since she's lived her whole damn life in this camp and never even knew this place existed. Vroko explains it used to be a magic ore mine, and magic ores got all kinds of uses. Like the lamp he's carrying, it burns thanks to crushed ore mixed with bug oil. Before he turned bandit, he spent a hell of a lot of time messing with magic ore, especially testing how it mixes with different liquids to pull off wild effects. Just ignore those skulls on the floor, they're not a bad sign or anything. Probably just the last guys who took a wrong turn. Suddenly the light cuts out, and Naru freaks the hell out because she can't see a damn thing. She begs him to turn it back on, and he does. But when the place lights up again, her heart nearly stops. Vroko's freaking pet monster is standing right behind her. Turns out, one of his twisted little experiments let him take control of demons like Betty, and that's how he clawed his way to the top of this camp. But being the boss comes with rules, and letting a slave talk about escape is a big no. That's why Betty's here. He's planning to let her handle Naru. The second Naru realizes what's happening, panic hits hard. She turns and bolts, trying to find any way out. Vroko, cold as ever, tells Betty to eat her, and the damn monster comes charging. As Naru scrambles for her life, the only thing running through her head is Clen's offer. Deep down, knows if she'd said yes, none of this would be happening now. That's when she spots Clen holding Luna at the far end of the tunnel, and the last thing that flashes through her head is how bad she feels for not being able to care for Luna anymore. Normally, this would be the part where Clen swoops in and saves the day, but nope. Betty swallows Naru whole, and just like that she's gone. Luna bursts into tears, watching the nightmare play out, but Clen doesn't flinch. Says that's how this world is. Magic beasts gotta eat, and he can't blame Betty for doing what comes natural. If anything, it's his own damn fault for showing up too late. He's bummed about losing someone as useful as Naru, but it is what it is. Then he shifts his gaze to Vroko, confused as hell. No damn troll from the western woods is bowing to a fun-sized fool with teeth like garden rakes. Vroko thinks Clen's lost his damn mind, mouthing off in a moment like this. He doesn't even get how the guy showed up here in the first place, but figures it won't matter for long. Tells Betty to eat Clen and the kid too. But Betty doesn't budge. Vroko glances up to see what's wrong and nearly drops dead on the spot. Betty looks absolutely terrified. He's never seen her like this. She won't even step near Clen, shaking so bad she ends up puking Naru back up. Naru's all messed up, half melted from stomach acid, missing a damn arm and a leg. But somehow, she's still breathing. Clen calmly removes the acid, then places Luna down beside her so the two can be together for whatever time Neru's got left. Then, without Vroko noticing, one of Klen's shadows picks up both Neru and Luna and floats them away. By the time Vroko turns back, they're gone. He stands there stunned, thinking Klen must have used some kind of magic, but Klen doesn't even know what the hell magic is. Vroko figures Klen's just acting clueless, since magic's the only damn thing that explains half the crap he's pulled so far. Magic, plain and simple, comes from combining magic stones with tower ingredients to trigger wild effects. Like that nasty brew Vroko's hiding in his coat crafted using those stones, a bunch of herbs, and the squirming larva of a parasite fly. The mix turns anyone who ain't him into a drooling moron. That's how he got Betty to obey his every command without a second thought. He dumps the potion into his fire pit, creating a thick, strange vapor. The instant Betty inhales it, her eyes glaze over, and she launches at Klen, blinded by fury. Klen gets tossed across the cave like a sack of potatoes, since he can't tap into most of his strength while stuck in this flimsy human body. As he's flying, the only thing racing through his head is how pissed he is that Alicia never gave him a damn warning about any of this magic stuff. Meanwhile, Alicia's still busy hacking her way through the bandits, and she's already dropped 8 like it's nothing. But that's barely scratching the surface, and the bargain bin sword she swiped from one of them has already snapped. If she wants to clear out the rest, she's gonna need something a hell of a lot better. So she bolts straight out of the flooded cave. There's close to 50 left, and even with her undead body, stamina's still a thing. If she burns out before finishing the job, she's screwed big time. She reaches the lake, but the monsters are already circling up top waiting. Jumping in now's asking to be dinner, so she climbs to the top of the scaffolding instead, baiting the idiots to follow. Once a crowd builds up, she slices the main rope, dropping a dozen into the water all at once. The monsters snap, turning the lake into a bloodbath, while Alicia hides in a barrel. She doesn't need air, so she lets herself sink to the bottom, where the legendary blade's supposed to be buried beneath the silence. Even so, holding her breath until she hits the bottom is way harder than she thought. That pain and pressure she prepared for kicks in fast. Her senses start to fade, and her chest's on fire from the lack of air. She knows she won't die even if she runs out of breath, but it still takes everything she's got not to panic and swim back up like her body's begging her to do. After a while, she hits the lake bed and rolls out of the barrel. She sees the red glow of the magic sword not far off, so she forces her heavy body to swim toward it. If she can grab that sword, things will shift. Getting back to the surface will be a breeze, but right before her hand touches it, a massive red eye pops open. That's when she realizes she didn't reach the lake's bottom, she landed right on top of a sleeping giant monster. The beast rises, launching her backward with a surge of water. She figures this is the same creature that took down the legendary hero. But instead of freezing, she focuses back on the sword and makes a move to grab it. Before she can reach it, the monster opens its mouth and starts sucking her in. The pull's too strong. She grabs the sword at the last second, but her arm gets stuck between its jaws. Then something snaps in her. A rush of memories hits her all at once, pushing her to fight back. With a loud yell, she forces her strength out and smashes the monster's jaw wide open. She pulls herself free, locking eyes with the beast. With the sword in hand, she unlocks its magic and shoots forward through the water. The giant freak follows her, and she still can't wrap her head around how anything that huge could even exist. Must be one of the ancient ones, those ancient dark beasts that have been lurking for thousands of years. Usually, they stay hidden in remote corners of the world, but looks like the Arcanasite mine humans dug nearby woke this one up. As that runs through her mind, she nears the surface. But there's a new problem. The smaller monsters above have spotted her, knows she won't last unless she gets some air. Using the sword, she cuts through the water fast, slices a monster clean through, then bursts out of the lake gasping. The bandits can't believe their eyes when they see Alicia still breathing. But she's barely got a second to catch her breath before that massive monster rises up behind her. The second it shows up, those bandits completely lose it, and then all hell breaks loose as the thing starts swinging its tentacles everywhere, tearing through everything in sight with brutal force. Alicia does her best to stay out of reach, but her attacks aren't doing much, barely scratching its skin. She figures it out real quick, no single hero's taking down an ancient one. Luckily, that beast goes wild on the bandits, tearing them apart and chomping through the mess. The leftovers end up as snacks for the smaller fish monsters. Alicia figures that's good enough. Her mission's over. Then she hears Klen's voice, even though he's nowhere in sight. Turns out they're using telepathy. Klen tells her he can't see much, but with all the blood around, he assumes she pulled it off. She snaps at him, pissed that he sat back while she nearly died out there. Klen brushes it off, says he's got problems of his own right now. She can't wrap her head around what kind of crap a demon lord could be dealing with. Clen explains he's stuck facing a technique he's never seen before, and his human body's weaker than expected. He blames her for hiding the whole magic thing from him, says once she's back, she's getting punished properly. Still, he already crushed that brainwashed troll, and is now farming aura while he waits. Somewhere else, Vroko's running like hell, convinced Clen must be some kind of genius mage after one-shotting his pet troll. He ends up stumbling on Neru's corpse, with little Luna crying beside her. One look at that girl gives him a twisted idea, maybe there's still a way out of this mess. Back with Alicia, she rushes toward Clen after getting his call, and the first thing she notices is the weird smoke hanging in the air. Clen spots the sword she's wrapped up in cloth, and she immediately makes it clear she's not parting with it. Says she nearly got eaten trying to get that damn thing. Clen's not even that interested in the sword, but what's got him on edge is the crimson smoke. He says it doesn't seem to mess with regular humans or animals, but for him, it's screwing with everything. His sense of smell's shot, ears ringing, and the whole area feels off. He says he could blow it all away by shifting into his true form, but with Luna somewhere out there, he's not taking that risk. Alicia freaks out the moment she hears Luna ain't with Clen, but he tells her not to lose it, she shouldn't be far. Then he asks her straight up about magic, and she explains only certain folks can use it by tapping into the hidden power inside Arcanasite. She admits she can't use it herself, even though she knows the basics. Clen looks at her and calls her useless. That pisses her off, and she starts throwing curses his way, but he ignores her and decides to look for Luna and Neru. He figures there's a good chance they're already dead. That thought sends a cold jolt through Alicia's spine, and she asks him what he'll do if Luna's actually gone. He tells her flat out he'd lose all interest in humans. Alicia knows that it'd be a freaking disaster. She makes up her mind to find Luna before it's too late for humanity's damn sake. Soon she finds a blood trail and asks Clen if Neru was bleeding. He confirms it, and Alicia guesses either Neru's crawling or someone's dragging her. Either way, she can't have gotten far, so they need to move now. Turns out Neru's still hanging on, clutching Vroko with everything she's got to keep Luna safe, even while bleeding out. He yells at her, kicks her, tells her to let go, but she won't quit. He wants her dead so he can run with Luna. Earlier, when he tried to take him, Luna screamed so loud it shattered Vroko's magic lantern. That's when he realized the kid's got some serious magical talent, and being a pure-blooded Haydn, there's a good chance he's royal. Vroko decides to cut Neru's wrist to get her off him, but that's when Alicia shows up, yelling at him to stop. Vroko jumps back, shocked to see her alive. He demands to know what happened to his guys, and Clen answers with zero emotion they turned into dinner for the beasts. That shakes Vroko hard, but he still pulls it together enough to threaten them. Says if they come any closer, he'll slice off Luna's fingers. Clen dares him to go ahead, he can heal it all anyway. But Alicia shuts that down, tells him healing don't fix what a kid feels. Then she tells Clen to let her handle this, and turns to Vroko, showing him the magic weapon from the legendary hero. Vroko's eyes damn near pop out. Before he can react, Alicia tosses the sword straight into the wall behind him, tells him to go fetch it. Says he'll need both hands to pull it out, but if he leaves the kid, she'll let him walk away with it. Vroko laughs, says no true hero would ever give up a magic weapon for a freaking baby. But now he's convinced Luna's got royal blood, and that changes everything. He tells Alicia she better cough up the location of the 13 weapons she and her crew are hiding if she wants the baby back. Clen, without hesitation, tells her to spill it, says they're just weapons. Alicia tells him the weapons are buried at the bottom of the valley under the Luna Mountains, but if he wants them, he better go get them himself. Vroko laughs cocky as hell, says he's more than capable, knows plenty of magic. Then he releases some black powder into the air and taps Luna lightly, making the kid cry, which activates his powers on instinct. Luna's magic boosts the powder, triggering Vroko's invisibility spell and making him vanish completely. He starts walking off, thinking he's untouchable, but Alicia suddenly appears in front of him and slices him clean in half. He's stunned, can't figure out how she found him. She tells him it didn't matter how quiet or invisible he got, she followed the sound of Luna crying. Meanwhile, Clen picks up Luna and brushes off the black powder. Alicia leaves Vroko's body invisible, then looks at Luna and realizes he's only alive because Neru protected him so fiercely. She turns to Clen and asks if he can save her. He says he can't, he's limited to one zombie puppet at a time, and Neru's lost too much. There's not enough left to regenerate, not without getting pieces from somewhere else. Adds it'd just be easier to let her die. That sets Alicia off. Yells at him for thinking about letting the woman who saved his kid die like that. Says if she were a mom, she'd trust someone like Neru with her child without a second thought. Clan stares at her, then finally agrees to save Neru, but says he'll need all the mana he poured into Alicia's body. That means she's gotta die. Alicia doesn't even flinch. Says she's fine dying if it's for someone else. Says that's what being a hero means. Clan nods once and ends her life immediately. Not long after, Neru opens her eyes, shocked she's still breathing. But even more surprising, her body's been completely rebuilt. Clan didn't just save her, he restructured everything. She looks at him and asks if he brought her back, and he tells her yes, but it's the hero she should be thanking. Says it took a while to fix her up, and by the time he was done, Alicia's body had already started rotting. But now that he returned the mana, she should be waking up soon. A few seconds later, Alicia jolts up like she's starting a breakdance set, and the first thing she does is look for her sword. Clan hands Luna over to Neru and says her new name's Nelaru now. Says she's part of their crew from here on out. But this time Nelaru happily agrees. The next morning, Clan takes Alicia's sword away, and she's clearly upset. But he calmly explains that having it out in the open will only attract trouble. He tells her he's keeping it hidden in his shadow for now, ready to bring it back if needed. Meanwhile, Nelaru finishes packing up a bunch of gear taken from the bandits and even finds a decent outfit for Lona to wear. Alicia watches her moving all that luggage and asks if it's not too heavy. Surprised she's handling it on her own, but Nelaru says it actually feels pretty light. That's when Alicia remembers that Nelaru lost a large portion of her body the day before, nearly dying in the process. Clan must have replaced those damaged parts with something stronger, though Alicia still has no clue what he did to save her. Then Nelaru steps closer and offers to carry Alicia's sword for her, saying she just wants to help. Alicia awkwardly explains she doesn't have the sword anymore, and Nelaru pauses to think, recalls hearing something about Vroko stashing away some fancy swords in his desk. Hearing that, Alicia lights up and begs Clan to let her grab a replacement, even just a regular blade. Clan knows full well she's pretty much useless in a fight without a weapon, so he agrees. Alicia immediately rushes off toward Vroko's office, excited to see what she can find. With the bandits wiped out and the slaves long gone, the place is mostly deserted now. Clan casually asks Nelaru if she's going to miss this place, but she quickly replies that it only holds bad memories and she's glad they're finally leaving. What really bothers her though is not getting to say goodbye to Karma. Hearing that name again, Clan realizes he might have made a mistake earlier, but before he can say anything, he's suddenly hit from above and sent flying. Back in the office, Alicia finds a small stash of coins, a leather armor set, and one decent sword tucked in the drawer. She's satisfied and starts heading out when suddenly, Clan crashes straight through the wall, slamming into the desk right in front of her. Clan then mutters that he still hasn't gotten used to how damn fragile this human body is, always getting tossed around like a ragdoll. Before he can say a word, Gart bursts through the hole in the wall and Alicia instantly senses how strong he is, so she raises her sword without hesitation. But in the next moment, Gart throws a savage kick that slices the air and leaves a small cut across her face from pressure alone. He's impressed she managed to dodge in time, but he doesn't think she'll last long, and starts pummeling her with kick after kick until she stumbles. Then he jumps back and sends out a violent gust of wind that blasts her straight through the roof, crashes outside hard, but somehow still stands, and that earns her some respect from Gart, who tells her he's not here for her anyway, just wants tiny-ass Clan. So if she drops the sword and walks away, he'll let her go without another scratch. Alicia doesn't believe a single word coming out of his mouth, thinks he's just another bandit trying to survive. She wishes she had the stream splitter in her hands right now, but since that's not an option, she decides to use one of the techniques she picked up from Haydn. She clears her head and tunes everything out until the only thing she can focus on is taking this guy down. Suddenly her steps become sharper, her rhythm tighter, and the sudden shift in her movement catches Gart by surprise. Just as she's about to land a solid strike, Clan suddenly shouts at her to stop. Her body freezes before the blade hits, but the fury in her eyes hasn't cooled off, so Clan rushes in and snaps her out of it before she does something reckless. Once she's calm again, Clan explains this whole thing is one big misunderstanding, and there's no reason for them to be fighting at all. If he hadn't stepped in, she would have gotten her shit kicked in by Gart before her sword even touched him. Gart, being reasonable enough, asks what the hell Clan means by that, because from where he's standing, Nelaru smells exactly like a western troll. He was told there was a troll being controlled in this camp, and after checking the caverns under the base, he found a dead one with body parts missing like someone had been slicing pieces off on purpose. So from his angle, it looks like Clan's the leader who killed that troll for fun. But the truth is way more complicated than that. Then Clan tells Nelaru to take Luna and wait by the front gate since he needs to talk to Gart alone. Once they're out of sight, he leans in and tells Alicia something wild. Gart's not who he says he is. Actually, he's a dark beast hiding behind some serious illusion magic. Alicia's jaw practically hits the floor. Had no clue there were others out there like Clevetess who could pass for human so naturally. But Clem explains it's all just a trick. From what he knows, there's only one creature strong enough to pull off illusion magic that advanced. And that's the dark beast of the west named Zafthir. Clem doesn't get along with Zafthir though, and he's not exactly eager to run into him. Meanwhile, Gart is stunned that Clem figured all this out so quickly. So he presses him asking who he really is. Clem's not about to spill the truth, so he lies, claiming he serves under Lord Clevetess, another dark beast. Gart buys it, drops the illusion, and reveals his real form, a giant bird monster loyal to Zafthir. Now that he's shown his true face, he asks Clem to do the same. Clem responds by unleashing one of his shadow tails, enough to prove he's not bluffing. That's all Gart needs to call a truce. But Alicia's head is spinning. There's way too much to process. If there are more dark beasts out there walking and talking like humans, then what the hell were the heroes even fighting for back when they went after Clevetess? Clem catches that look on her face and tells her to chill out. There aren't that many beasts who can pull off a full human disguise. Outside of Zafthir, nobody else even bothers, since most of them don't care enough to get mixed up with humans. From there, Gart wants to know why Clem's got a human tagging along. But Clem plays it off, saying Alicia's his servant now, bound to follow whatever he tells her, using her as a guide while he figures out the human world. Same thing goes for Nelleru and Luna, they're part of the plan. But he's not about to hand over any more details. Gart shrugs it off, but lays down one warning. If Clem steps in his way, he'll have no choice but to kill him. Clem just smirks and says he's welcome to try, but taking him down won't be easy. Now that Clem answered one of Gart's questions, he says it's only fair he gets to ask one too. Before that, Gart mentions Zafthir might be planning to wipe out all of humanity, and that just doesn't sit right with him. From what he remembers, Zafthir always seemed fascinated by humans. The Orgites in the West even worship her like some god, so why the hell would she suddenly decide to erase them all? Gart agrees to explain. 3 days back, he found out that some dark beasts in the West had lost their kids. That alone didn't seem too unusual, but what got him thinking was a strange vial someone left behind at one of the scenes. It made him suspect humans might be involved. He took it straight to Zafthir, told her what happened, along with 9 other similar cases he'd uncovered. She believed him, though it caught her off guard since she'd always treated humans with kindness. Still, she didn't waste time, told him to look into it. And if humans really were behind the kidnappings in the forest, then she'd wipe them out without a second thought. Clem pauses, thinking back to something he heard during the interrogation with Karma. She told him that every child born in their camp gets sold off to some mysterious group of men because of their talent. That's what Vroko had planned for Luna too. Putting the pieces together, Clem suspects there's a link between the missing dark beast children and those human kids being sold. Since talent was part of the deal, he figures magic must be playing a role here. Then Alicia hears that, and her whole vibe changes. Clem picks up on it and asks if she knows anything. She says magic isn't exactly her specialty, but the idea of kidnapping children for magical talent sounds like something the wizards would be behind. These wizards changed the entire landscape of war in the human kingdoms over the last few years. Battles now depend almost completely on how strong each side's wizards are, since one of them can take out dozens, sometimes hundreds with a single spell. Sure, they can still be killed by other wizards, so it's not like they're untouchable, but they're still a serious threat on the battlefield. The first person who brought wizards into war was General Drell, better known as the Dragon Slayer. He's also the one who killed Alicia's father when she was a kid. She's carried that grudge ever since. Hearing all this hits Clem different, and he ends up asking why she went after Clevetess instead of the one who actually took her father's life, since Clevetess never actually did anything to the humans before they attacked. But Alicia says it wasn't about what she wanted. Her father's last wish was for her to move forward through Clevetess's territory, so that's what she did no matter how she felt inside. At the same time, somewhere deep in the human kingdom, General Drell's army is making its move toward the south with 50,000 men behind him. His goal is to capture the ruins of Haydn and claim them for himself. What's left of the Haydn army is scrambling to stop him, but they've only got around 6,000 soldiers and barely any wizards, so they're in no position to hold their ground. Miquel wonders if reinforcements are on the way, but with how things are looking, it'll take at least 3 days before anyone shows up, which means they're on their own for now. Even so, Commander Rhodey is not ready to give up, tells Miquel they might have a shot if they can make it to the fortress at Highgate and shut the gates behind them. That way, even with the odds stacked, they could still stand their ground against Drell's forces. The problem is, that plan depends on the soldiers already stationed there playing along. Rhodey had sent them a letter explaining the whole situation, but since he hasn't gotten any kind of reply, he figures things must be just as messy inside that fortress. Neither Rhodey nor Mikkel knows for sure whether the rumors about Clevitas wiping out Haydn are true, but if Bolate sent Drell out to take it, then odds are the kingdom has already fallen. If he had to bet, Rhodey thinks Drell's after the Forge of Haydn, since it's impossible to craft real magic weapons without it. Mikkel agrees that letting the Bolates get their hands on it would be a nightmare, but says there's more at stake than just weapons. That forge isn't just ancient, it's one of the oldest magical relics in existence. If the magic-hungry Bolates manage to unlock its secrets, no one knows how far their power might go. With something like that, they could take the whole continent for themselves. And that's exactly why Rhodey says they've got to be stopped no matter the cost. Back on Drell's side, he's having a private talk with his strongest wizard Maynard. Maynard reports that he confirmed Haydn's been destroyed by Clevitas and the royal family's been wiped out. Everyone except one, the 6-month-old crown prince. He's the last of the bloodline, but no one knows where he is now, so Maynard can't say if he's alive or gone. That said, he also heard from a group of bandits recently. They found a baby, and the description sounds a lot like the prince. So Maynard figures it's worth digging into, and Drell gives him full authority to do whatever it takes to find that child and bring him back. Thanks for watching. Please hit like and subscribe, it makes all the difference.